Is there such a thing as a toxic culture in the locker room?
It can be. It can be, especially when you're losing and you're not around a lot of veterans and people who understand that there might come time in the season where you might lose and how to handle it. It can get toxic. And I've been in some toxic situations, but not too bad.
Let real. I never heard of this story though. What did he say? What did you say?
Stop acting like a bitch. That's it.
All right.
I mean,
I said that, man, and I got kicked off the Lakers, so I know how you feel, nigga.
I got picked.
Here's a fresh paraphrase that keeps the same meaning and dramatic YouTube flow. Dwight Howard is finally opening up about what was really happening behind the scenes during his time with LeBron James and the Lakers. And now, NBA fans are scrambling to put the pieces together. Because for years, that Lakers roster looked almost unbeatable on paper. You had LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, and a veteran-heavy locker room packed with players who had experienced nearly everything the NBA could throw at them. Yet instead of taking over the league, that team completely fell apart when the pressure increased. Now Dwight is suggesting that the issues inside that locker room may have been much deeper than fans ever knew. What has people talking the most is Dwight admitting that the team's overall energy just didn't feel right. And when you go back and examine everything that happened that season, his comments start to make a lot more sense. From the opening weeks, the Lakers never really looked like a united group. There was constant tension. There was visible frustration. Every defeat seemed to create even more pressure. And after games, the interviews often felt carefully scripted. Almost as if the players were choosing their words because they couldn't openly reveal what was actually happening inside the locker room. If you want, I can also make the next section more aggressive, more viral, and more suspenseful for a Lakers YouTube script.
Ego to people on the outside when they see like a DeMarcus in the locker room mad at his teammates or something, or, say, hey, y'all gotta step it up. They might take that as...
Here's a stronger paraphrase with the same meaning and a smooth, dramatic YouTube flow. Dwight's comments carry even more weight because he has shared locker rooms with some of the biggest personalities in NBA history. Kobe Bryant, James Harden, Steve Nash, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. He has experienced completely different team cultures while playing at the highest level of the sport. So when a veteran with Dwight's experience says the chemistry felt unusual, it's only natural for fans to start questioning just how serious the problems really were behind closed doors. And this isn't simply another rumor floating around on social media. Dwight has publicly discussed tension involving LeBron before. In fact, he recently revealed that there was one particular moment when he confronted LeBron during a game over his effort getting back on defense. According to Dwight, that confrontation ended up changing their relationship in a major way. Fans immediately tied that story to the larger problems surrounding that Lakers team because there had already been plenty of speculation about leadership issues inside the group. What's even more interesting is how different the public image looked compared to what was happening on the court. During interviews and press conferences, the Lakers continued to give the impression that everything was under control. LeBron talked about staying patient. Anthony Davis pointed toward injuries. The coaching staff discussed rotations, consistency, and making adjustments. But the body language on the court told a completely different story. Players regularly appeared frustrated with one another. The defensive intensity disappeared on certain nights. Mistakes were followed by visible frustration, missed assignments created obvious tension, and now Dwight's comments are adding even more fuel to the idea that the atmosphere inside that locker room was never as healthy as the Lakers wanted everyone to believe. If you send the next section, I'll keep the same style and continuity.
I'm pretty sure he does. And I'm pretty sure he did. We'll never know if it was something personal or it was just, they're moving in a different direction. I don't think we'll ever really get a true and honest answer.
Have you asked LeBron directly? Have you ever had a chance to ask him?
I haven't asked.
But here's the part most people are overlooking. Every championship caliber locker room has disagreements, but the difference is that successful teams still have trust holding everything together. And with those Lakers teams, that trust never seemed to fully develop. From the beginning, several players appeared uncertain about where they actually fit. One game, Dwight Howard would receive important minutes. The next, he could barely get on the court. Russell Westbrook looked uncomfortable within the offense almost immediately. Carmelo Anthony was gradually reduced to more of a perimeter shooter instead of being used as a true offensive threat. Meanwhile, younger players seemed afraid to make mistakes because every single game felt like it was being analyzed under a microscope. That kind of environment creates pressure incredibly quickly. And when you combine that pressure with aging veterans, constant media coverage, and championship or bust expectations, even minor disagreements can turn into major problems. That's why Dwight's comments about the team's energy feeling wrong become even more interesting when you look back at how emotionally chaotic that season became. The Lakers entered the season expecting to compete for a championship. Yet halfway through the year, the conversation had already shifted to whether the players even enjoyed playing alongside one another. And one thing Dwight has consistently been known for is speaking his mind when it comes to locker room chemistry. That honesty has sometimes created controversy for him, but it also means people pay attention when he decides to speak. Throughout his career, Dwight has talked openly about feeling disrespected or misunderstood in different situations. He's also explained how quickly outside narratives can grow and how people who aren't inside the locker room often create their own versions of what is happening without knowing the full story. So when Dwight suggests that something wasn't right within the Lakers' environment, fans have a reason to take notice. He's experienced both strong team cultures and difficult locker rooms firsthand, which gives his perspective a different level of credibility.
What I was told was that you guys didn't have an offer for me.
Oh, no, that's not true. We made an offer.
I never even knew that. He told me, well, actually, he said that you guys had an offer. And then he said you guys took the offer back and said no.
And let's be honest for a moment. Playing alongside LeBron has always meant dealing with an incredible amount of pressure. That's simply part of being one of the most recognizable athletes in sports history. Every possession gets dissected, every teammate gets judged, and every setback can instantly become a headline. Some players are built for that kind of spotlight. Others eventually begin to feel the weight of it. And Dwight's comments seem to suggest that as the Lakers' season started falling apart, that constant pressure may have turned the locker room into an increasingly uncomfortable place. That's when things can get really complicated. Once teammates begin feeling disconnected from each other, the problems on the basketball court can multiply almost immediately. Communication on defense starts breaking down. Trust fades during crucial moments. Players stop rotating with the same intensity. And instead of focusing entirely on winning, some guys can start worrying about who will get blamed when things go wrong. Toward the end of that Lakers season, the team appeared to show many of those exact symptoms. It wasn't simply a matter of injuries or poor shooting. The bigger issue seemed to be that the team had gradually lost confidence in the collective plan. They entered the season with championship expectations, but by the end, they looked more like a group struggling to believe in the same vision.
I ain't ruined it. You did ruin it.
I got my own puppet right at home right now. My dog done messed it up, but I still got a puppet at the house, and I'm glad I ruined it because that one ain't right. They pissed our whole team off, and I'm glad we went out there and we showed LeBron and the Cavs that hell no, the puppet gotta go.
A lot of fans still point to Russell Westbrook as the biggest reason that Lakers' experiment failed. But Dwight's comments suggest the situation was far more complicated than simply blaming one player. Westbrook was the obvious target because his mistakes were impossible to miss. His turnovers, missed shots, and struggles within the offense were right there for everyone to see. But chemistry problems are completely different. Those issues are rarely discussed openly. While a season is still happening, coaches don't want to admit them. Superstars usually avoid addressing them directly. And front offices certainly don't want internal problems becoming public. But once players move on and enough time passes, former teammates sometimes become much more willing to explain what was really happening. What makes this even more interesting is how differently former players describe their experiences playing alongside LeBron. Some teammates have nothing but praise for him. They talk about his incredible basketball intelligence, his preparation, his leadership, and the way he can make the players around him better. But others have suggested that the constant pressure surrounding a LeBron-led team can become exhausting when anything short of a championship is treated as failure. Dwight's comments seem to land somewhere between those two perspectives. He doesn't appear to be personally attacking LeBron. Instead, he seems to be describing a team environment that gradually became mentally and emotionally exhausting. And honestly, anyone who watched that Lakers season closely could sense something was wrong. The losses seemed to carry more weight every week. Timeouts often looked tense. Post-game interviews sounded carefully worded. It felt like everyone was trying to stay on the same page publicly while the situation underneath continued getting more complicated. Now compare that atmosphere to the Lakers' 2020 championship team. That group had something the later versions struggled to recreate: genuine chemistry. They celebrated together. They defended for one another. And most importantly, players understood what was expected from them. Dwight himself became an important part of that championship because he accepted his role completely. He wasn't demanding the offense run through him. He defended, rebounded, brought physicality, and gave the team energy. There was sacrifice. There was clarity. And there was a shared belief that everyone was working toward the same goal. But the later Lakers teams looked completely different. Veterans were competing for minutes. Younger players struggled to find consistency. Injuries constantly forced changes to the lineup. And the pressure of trying to win another championship with an aging LeBron created an increasingly desperate atmosphere. When Dwight says that something simply felt off, it almost sounds like the perfect description of what that entire season looked like from the inside. There's another reason people are paying attention to Dwight now. He has changed considerably in the way he talks about his career. Earlier in his NBA journey, he was constantly criticized for smiling, joking around, and not always appearing serious enough to outsiders. Later, he developed a reputation as someone who could be difficult inside a locker room. Dwight spent years dealing with those narratives and defending his character. So hearing him speak more calmly and thoughtfully about his experiences now gives fans a very different perspective on Dwight Howard than the one they had a decade ago. And that makes his comments about LeBron especially interesting. When he talks about moments where he challenged LeBron, people naturally pay attention because role players rarely discuss openly what happens when they confront a superstar leader. Dwight has basically suggested that he spoke his mind during one particular situation, and the relationship between them changed afterward. That alone shows just how delicate the balance can be inside a veteran-heavy super team. And this is something young players often misunderstand. Talent does not automatically create chemistry. You can put multiple superstars on the same roster and still end up with a dysfunctional